5. ETA. Copy on 10-12. And here's what's going to happen. Is the car running? Shut the car off for me. It's off. I'm going to detain you until I figure out what exactly is going on. Wait, you don't want any trouble for me. Okay? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to have you step out of the car and I'm going to detain you. Not arrest. Detain you right now. Okay? And I can't have any problems. You understand me? Just relax. Let me see the keys to the car. Let me see the keys to the car. Keys. Keys. Wait, we're not gonna have any problems. Just give me the keys to the car. Wait. Just wait till my partner gets here. L41, getting a couple more units. Don't go anywhere. Hey.
درود دوستان، به کانال خودتون بیواز خوش برگشتید. مجرمی رو که دیدید وید ویلسون که بدون لباس پشت فرمان اتومبیل زنی به نام کریستین نشسته که 1 ساعت قبلش او رو به قتل رسونده. امروز به 2 قتل درجه اول وید ویلسون میپردازیم و در انتهای ویدیو میتونید شاهد ویدیوی دادگاه اظهارات بازماندگان و همینطور دادگاه صدور حکم برای وید ویلسون باشید با اظهارات و دستور خود قاضی پرونده وید ویلسون. پس بی معطلی بریم که وارد پرونده بشیم. وید استیون ویلسون 20 می 1994 متولد شد، اما والدینش خودشون نوجوان حساب می شدن که پس از مدتی وید رو به یه خانواده موجه و خوبی سپردن، یعنی کندیس و استیو ویلسون. وید توی فلوریدا تالهاسی بزرگ شد و دبیرستان رفت. شروع دبیرستانش مساوی بود با شروع اضطراب‌های روحی، مشکلات روانی متعدد مثل توهم و غیره. طبق گزارشات حرکت‌های خلاف مثل مصرف مواد مخدر هم داشت. گزارش شده که در همون زمانها به سر خودش صدمات زیادی وارد کرده بود تا وقتی به 18 سالگی رسید و توی شهرستان لیون وارد فعالیت‌های مجرمانه‌ای مثل سرقت، حمله به مردم و حمل سلاح گرم شده بود و در نوامبر 2013 برای دزدی و سرقت بازداشت شد و حکم زندان گرفت. 1 سال حبس کشید. پس از آزادی 1 سال بعدش به اتهام تجاوز جنسی و آدمربایی یه دختری مجددا بازداشت شد، ولی از اون اتهام با رأی هیئت منصفه تبرئه شد. سال 2017 مجددا به خاطر سرقت اسلحه این بار بازداشت و زندانی شد و تا 2018 حبس کشید. اومد بیرون، باز درگیر مشکل دیگه‌ای شد و این بار توطئه در قتل شوهر زنی مطرح بود و در اون زمان حتی شواهدی رو هم جعل سند کرد. تا سال 2019 که دوست دختر سابقش به پلیس گزارش داد که دوست پسرش به نام وید ویلسون او رو مورد تعرض و خشونت قرار میده و میخواسته خفش کنه. چند ماه پس از اون گزارش به دلیل سرقت در 1 ژوئن 2019 دستگیر شد مجددا، اما 4 ماه بعد یعنی ماه اکتبر آزاد شد تا در 7 اکتبر 2019 فقط در طول چند ساعت 2 زن رو بدون هیچ دلیل و انگیزه خاصی وحشیانه به قتل رسوند. اولین قربانیش کریستین میلتون بود. اونا شب قبلش با 2 تا از دوستاشون که به تازگی هم آشنا شده بودن به یه باری رفته بودن تا یه چیزی بنوشن و موسیقی زنده گوش کنن و یه معاشرتی داشته باشن. شب نشینیشون به درازا کشید و نزدیکای صبح بود که وید به کریستین پیشنهاد داد تا خونه همراهیش کنه. جلوی در خونه که رسیدن وید هم وارد خونه کریستین میشه تا چند ساعتی رو اونجا با هم استراحت کنن. کریستین از خستگی و احتمالاً تاثیر مشروب زودتر خوابش میگیره و همین زمان بوده که وید او رو به حدی خفه میکنه که کریستین کشته میشه. وید نمیدونسته با جسد چه کنه. بعد از مدتی تصمیم میگیره او رو لای فرشی بپیچه و یه جایی که دیدی نداره همون اطراف ساختمون رهاش کنه. برای خود ما که کمی از روانشناسی متوجه میشیم البته سوال بزرگه. خب چرا؟ کریستین چه بدی یا ظلمی به تو کرده بود که مستحق چنین جنایتی شد؟ البته محل اتکا نیست، اما از تتوهای صورت وید خصوصا علامت نازی و فاشیسم شاید بشه حدس‌هایی زد. وید که جسد رو لای فرش پیچیده بود و رهاش کرده بود اومد و اتومبیل کریستین رو هم سرقت کرد و شروع کرد به گشت دادن توی شهر تا اینکه در پارکینگی توقف کرده بود که باعث جلب توجه پلیس شد، چون کلاً تیشرت به تن نداشت و بالا تنش لخت بود پشت فرمون. از پارکینگ و دست پلیس هم به نحوی تونست فرار کنه تا اینکه تقریباً 2 ساعت بعد از کشتن کریستین این بار در خیابون از زنی به نام دایان رویز آدرس پرسید و ازش کمک خواست. دایان هم خواست کمکش کنه، پس سوار ماشین شد تا آدرس رو بهش نشون بده. وید بعد از چند دقیقه تلاش کرد دایان رو توی ماشین خفه کنه. دایان با اینکه مقاومت زیادی کرد نتونست از مرگش جلوگیری کنه و در حالی کشته شد که پس از خفگی وید او رو از اتومبیل بیرون انداخت و چند بار هم زیرش کرد. پس از این 2 قتل وید با پدر بیولوژیکی خودش تماس گرفت که اسمش استفن تستاسکاست و بهش گفت که 2 زن رو به قتل رسونده. استفن هم بلافاصله با پلیس تماس گرفت و فرداش وید استیون ویلسون دستگیر شد. اون 5 سال زندانی بود تا اینکه در سال 2024 در دادگاه عالی فلوریدا توسط قاضی نیکولاس تامپسون به 2 اعدام محکوم شد و در حال حاضر ویلسون در حال اعتراض به تصمیم دادگاه عالی فلوریدا است. ناگفته نماند که وید هم یک بار تلاش کرد از زندان فرار کنه که ناموفق بود و هم در زندان به حمل و رد و بدل کردن مواد مخدر هم اضافه بر جرایمش فعالیت‌هایی داشت. به ویدیوی دادگاه عالی کالیفرنیا و اظهارات بازماندگان جنایات وید ویلسون ابتدا دوست صمیمی و دختر عموی کریستین یعنی سامانتا و پس از اون پسر 19 ساله دایان رویز در حضور خود وید ویلسون توجه کنید. رفتار ویلسون و زبان بدن و نگاه‌های معنیدارش نشون از کمترین حس انسانیت و همدردی با هم نوعش داره و خوبه که فضای دادگاه‌های آمریکا رو هم بیشتر ببینیم و بشناسیم و ببینیم چه آدابی دارن. بلافاصله پس از این ویدیو شاهد دادگاه علنی صدور حکم وید ویلسون خواهید بود با حضور خود ویلسون و قاضی پرونده جناب آقای نیکولاس تامپسون.
Samantha, do you have someone standing next to you in court?
Yes, this is my husband.
How did you know Christine Melton?
She was my best friend and my cousin.
Now, did you prepare a statement about what Christine meant to you and your family?
Yes.
And before you read that statement, I want to direct your attention to the screen. Did you send some photos to the state that you would like the jury to be able to view?
Yes.
And these have previously been stipulated to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct? The defense? Hold on. Yes.
That's fine, Judge.
No objections?
No objections.
All right. And is there an exhibit number for these or anything?
Yes, Your Honor. It'll be PowerPoint States Exhibit 4.
Okay.
And Samantha, who is this a photograph of?
That's Christine Melton and my daughter wearing outfits that they got for Christmas to match.
And what did the shirt say?
Do good.
Samantha, would you please read the statement that you prepared to the jurors?
Yes. Christine Melton was my best friend and my cousin until October 7th, 2019. It is my task to describe this beautiful human and to somehow capture Christine in a way that 12 strangers and 2 alternates can understand, using only my words. And I will do so sitting no more than 20 feet from the convicted. who beat Christine, murdered Christine, and threw her away like garbage. I hope you will understand this is not the ideal scenario to be sharing personal stories, although you would have loved them. There are no words to describe the absolutely lovely Christine Ann Melton, but I will try. She was precious, not just to me, to everyone who knew her. She was a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a niece, and a cousin. She was loved, and her life had value. Christine was remarkably funny, had a quick wit, and an entirely unique personality. If you were with her, you laughed. We laughed every single day. When you were with her, you felt safe and understood, never judged. She was a relief to your soul just to sit next to her. She had a way about her. Children loved her because Christine was good and they could feel it. She wasn't an aunt. She was the aunt. Christine was the godmother of my son, and it was her greatest honor and one that she deserved. Our children miss her in ways I could never articulate, and it is gut-wrenching to see them so destroyed. They were robbed of her. Christine will never experience motherhood, a role she was born to play. Christine was strong, brave, independent, and loyal. She was the friend you wished you had. She was the friend who got more fired up about your problems than you did. She was fiercely protective and always on your side, even if you were wrong. Christine loved traveling and exploring the world. She would buy plane tickets and figure out the rest later. She loved camping and concerts and Halloween and a themed party of any kind and celebrating life and accomplishments. Christine adored her mother and loved being with her. They were two peas in a pod. They were the same and different in all the most beautiful ways. They lived less than 1 block apart in 2019 when this occurred. Every relationship or friendship she had was special because she was part of it. She was a cheerleader to us all. She loved us unconditionally, completely, and with her entire being until October 7th, 2019. Christine's mother has not been at this trial. Once Christine was murdered, she was never the same. How could she be? Her health declined quickly. She left Florida and is now cared for her son in Maryland. Christine's mother is my godmother. She is special just like Christine. When she left Florida, she made me promise to see this trial through, and I have kept that promise. We all have. We have sat through graphic testimony and heard all of the positively gruesome details of how our girl met our end. And I sit here today and I listen, because that's what Christine would have done. She would have sacrificed her sanity to see justice done, and so I have done the same. Losing Christine has been like loving Christine. It's changed the courses of our life forever. The loss of Christine is a wound that will never heal, ever. Losing Christine is like losing the sun. It encompasses you and swallows you whole. Death is difficult, loss is difficult, but losing someone to murder is foul and vicious and soul-crushing. With one exception, I would not wish it on my worst enemy. The prosecution has won this trial, but I assure you, the family, friends, and loved ones of Christine Ann Melton have only lost.
Samantha, now I just want to go through a few of the pictures.
That's my godmother and Christine. At Christmas, they always wore matching aprons. Christine loves Halloween. This is her and some friends as the Golden Girls.
And is Christine on the top right.
In the yellow, yes.
All right.
That is Christine and my son, her godchild. It hangs in his room so that he remembers what she looks like. That is a group of us. We went to concerts every year for probably 20 years.
The top photograph, is that Stephanie in the background, Stephanie
Yes,
Johnson?
ma'am. Yes.
And then the one right behind Christine Melton, is that your sister?
Yes.
All right.
That's Christine and Monty. That was her cat, the one who sat next to her crumpled body.
And is Monty the fat cat we saw in the crime scene photos?
Yes. It's Christine's family, her brother, her mom, her dad. That's her on the bottom, blonde and jumping. It's Christine on Easter, with bunny ears on, with another child who loved her and who will never see her again. It's our family. It's me and my sister, Christine, our grandmother, and our aunt. There she is. Look at her. Look at her. You can see it. I know you can.
Thank you, Samantha.
All right, any?
I haven't.
Thank you. You can step down.
Judge State would like to call Zane Romero.
If you'll just face the clerk and raise your right hand, she'll swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can take the stand.
Interesting. Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury by telling them your name?
I'm Zane Romero.
Do you know, or did you know, a young lady by the name of Diana Ruiz?
Yes, that was my mom.
And is there anything that you would like for the jury to consider here today as it relates to this matter?
I wrote a letter.
Could you please be so kind?
My name is Zane Romero. I'm a 19-year-old college student going for my bachelor degree in graphic design. I'm Diane Ruiz's youngest child. I was only 14 years old when she passed. Just starting my freshman year of high school, she was so excited to see me grow up. And so proud of what I was growing into. She supported me in all my dreams and only tried to help and uplift me when taking on new risks and challenges. My father unfortunately passed away when I was only 11 years old. My mother was all I had left. I was barely 2 months into my first year of high school when she passed away. I was in marching band, and the week prior, she was telling me how excited she was to go and watch me perform at that weekend's football game. She would have been her first time seeing me perform because that was my first year in that marching band. She never got to see me perform, and I never got the experience of seeing her in the crowd. My mother supported my dreams and only ever wanted me to succeed in life. She always reassured me that my life wasn't going to end if I got a C in math. She always made sure that all the hard work I was putting into my education wasn't going unnoticed. She would always show up with random gifts that helped me and succeeded in my life for what I needed. When I was younger, I originally wanted to be a photographer. My mother went out of her way to find me a professional beginner photographer. She knew I wanted to print my photos, and she bought me a printer with photo paper. I no longer have those dreams, but I still constantly use those items. She was raised in a tough home environment and only ever wanted to give me and my brother nothing like that. She wanted us to grow up in a loving home and for us to be happy. My mother was a single mother who only ever wanted not only for her family but everybody around her to be happy. My mother's life dream was to be able to get married and raise her family. She was so close to getting everything she wanted. I was forced to move states to better accommodate for what I needed for my education. I moved far away from Florida because I grew up everywhere with my mom just to have her be stripped away on a random weekday. I tried my best to avoid going back. She was really excited for my future because she knew I was going to achieve big things, and I refused to disappoint her, even in death, because it helps me push on every day. I would like to share some achievements I've been able to accomplish. I did 3 years of marching band. We achieved superiors in the Blue Ribbon all throughout high school. My senior year, I achieved my high school's most principal award. Sophomore year, I won my first scholarship based off of my art portfolio. I graduated high school. I got accepted into all the colleges I applied and also received a full ride scholarship from one. My senior year, I received the John Phillips Sousa Award for marching band. I got my driver's license. I received my first car. During COVID, I ran a whole jewelry business for 2 years at 16. I got my first job. I'm getting my first apartment July. I'm a year ahead in my college education, and I have my first internship as a graphic designer. I only listed 13 out of many, both big and small, achievements. All 13 of these achievements my mom didn't get the chance to see me accomplish. My mother will never get the chance to see me get married, get to see me graduate college as a first-generation graduate, get to see me get my first real job. During college, I was sent to the ER for the first time. I got into my first car accident, and the only person I wanted to call was my mom, or how she went missing. I trusted my gut so much. Everything told me that she was coming home, and I haven't been able to trust her again. Or how when I was told she was missing while walking home from my bus stop, or how everybody in my town knew that she was dead before me, or how on my 15th birthday I almost killed myself because I couldn't bear the idea without turning 15 without my mom. I lived 5 years without her, and not a single day has gone by where I haven't been able to not think about her. My mother only had love in her heart, only wanted the best for me, and nothing that happened to her was ever deserved, and she just wanted to live a normal life.
Did you know where your mom was walking to that morning?
Yeah, to work.
And where did your mom work?
The Moose Lodge.
Okay. And how long had your mom been working at the Moose Lodge?
Like 3 years.
And did you know what your mom did for the Moose Lodge?
She was a bartender.
Did she also volunteer at the Moose Lodge?
Yeah.
Did you know whether or not they performed any benefits?
Not any benefits. She would just be there for fun.
Okay. And did you know that the Moose Lodge was for the concern of children and for the elderly?
Yes.
Okay. And your mom was very active in that particular community, is that right?
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to see a series of photographs in this particular case?
Yes.
And you're familiar with those photographs?
Yes.
I'd like to direct your attention to the screen there at the
Have these
right.
been admitted?
We are moving states exhibits PP3, PowerPoint 3, and evidence at this time, Judge. They've
Any
been
objections?
discussed with defense counsel.
No, we have no objection.
All right, to be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Merrill, what are we looking at in this photograph?
That's me and my mom at the Moose Lodge on Mother's Day. I don't like pictures taken of myself, and that was the only picture I let her take as a Mother's Day gift.
Very well.
That's my grandpa and my mom when she was a kid. That's my mom when she was younger. That's my mom and my brother while they were at Disney. That is my mom working at the Moose. That is my mom. I'm gonna assume at a bar, I don't know where. That was a picture I took of my mom working an event with her at the Moose.
You say working an event, what do you mean?
It was for something, the camera she got me, she asked me to take pictures, and I just went to go take them. That's my mom and my mom and my brother. I took that picture of my mom and her boyfriend on this trail we went on. And that's my mom at the Moose.
All right, let the record reflect that State's President, Defense Counsel, and the defendant are all present. We're here for sentencing. Was there anything else that the court needed to address prior to sentencing?
No, no, Your Honor.
All right. So I have considered all of the testimony and evidence, arguments of counsel, applicable case law, and statutes. I have prepared a written sentencing order, which I'll file contemporaneously with the pronouncement of the sentence here today. I also have copies for the state and defense, which I'll hand out once I conclude. So in the state of Florida versus Wade Stephen Wilson, case number 19 CF 568, the court will read aloud the portion of the sentencing order related to the sentencing circumstances and proportionality. In evaluating the aggravating and mitigating factors, the court does not engage in a mere counting procedure, but instead makes a reasoned judgment based on the totality of the circumstances. In reaching this decision, the court is mindful that because death is a unique punishment in its finality, its application is reserved only for those cases where the most aggravating and least mitigating circumstances exist. The law never requires the imposition of a death sentence. In this case, the totality of the circumstances indicates the defendant, with premeditation, beat and strangled Christine Melton in her home before stealing her vehicle and driving to meet his girlfriend, Melissa Montanez. After Montanez refused to get into the car with him, the defendant battered her in broad daylight. The defendant told law enforcement, when Ms. Montanez managed to flee from the defendant, he fled the scene and drove back to Cape Coral, where he decided that he would murder another person. He saw Diane Ruiz walking to work and pulled over, pretending to ask for directions. She got into the car to provide directions, but the defendant strangled her when she tried to exit. He then drove to an empty lot, strangling her into unconsciousness at least one additional time on the way there. When she tried to flee from the car, he drove over her at least one time, inflicting mortal injuries to her spine, ribs, and neck. The evidence showed that both murders were heinous, atrocious, and cruel, and that the second murder was cold, calculated, and premeditated. The defendant inflicted serious physical and emotional pain to the victims. Moreover, the defendant committed the murders while on probation for prior felony convictions, and he committed 2 first-degree murders contemporaneously with each other and with grand theft of a motor vehicle, battery, and burglary of a dwelling. There were no statutory mitigating circumstances that were established, but the court considered the non-statutory mitigating circumstances presented by the defendant. Out of 13 enumerated non-statutory mitigating factors, the court found that 10 had been established. Out of those established, 6 were given little weight. The totality of the mitigating circumstances indicates that the defendant suffers from drug use from a young age, along with undiagnosed and untreated mental health issues of some kind. He felt abandoned by his biological parents, but had a devoted adoptive family who raised him in a supportive and loving environment. Defendant did not resist law enforcement when arrested and confessed fully to both murders. The court has further considered giving great weight to the advisory verdict of the jury, who recommended that the death penalty be imposed by a vote of 9-3 on count 1 for the murder of Christine Melton and a vote of 10-2 on count 4 for the murder of Diane Ruiz. The court recognizes that there is no mathematical formula for considering the aggravating and mitigating factors. It is not enough to weigh the number of aggravators against the number of mitigators. The court carefully considered the nature and quality of each aggravator and mitigator. Having reviewed all of the aggravating factors proven beyond a reasonable doubt and all of the mitigating circumstances reasonably established by the evidence, the court finds that the aggravating factors greatly outweigh mitigating circumstances. Given the facts of the case, nothing in defendant's background or mental state would suggest that a death sentence is inappropriate. This court's review of other reported capital cases has led the court to conclude that the death penalty is not disproportionate in this case. Under the totality of the circumstances and evidence, the court finds no basis to override the jury's verdict. The totality of the circumstances warrants that the defendant Wade Stephen Wilson be sentenced to death for each count of first-degree murder. Accordingly, it is ordered in the judge that the defendant, Wade Stephen Wilson, be sentenced as follows. Count 1, first-degree murder of Christine Melton. The defendant is hereby sentenced to death. Count 2, grand theft of a motor vehicle. The defendant is sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in the Florida Department of Corrections. Count 3, battery. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 364 days in the Lee County Jail. Count 4, first-degree murder of Diane Ruiz. The defendant is hereby sentenced to death. Count 5, the burglary of a dwelling. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 15 years imprisonment in the Florida Department of Corrections. Count 6, petty theft. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 364 days in Lee County Jail. The defendant is given credit for all time served on this case on all counts. All counts are to run concurrent with each other, meaning at the same time. All statutorily mandated fines, fees, and costs as announced on the record are imposed, and the defendant is committed to the custody of the Department of Corrections for execution of this sentence as provided by law. The defendant is hereby notified that these convictions and sentences are subject to automatic review by the Florida Supreme Court.
امیدواریم این ویدیو مورد توجهتون قرار گرفته باشه. طبق معمول امیدواریم فرسنگ‌ها از فضای جرم و جنایت دور باشید. بیشتر مراقب خودتون باشید و اگر اولین بار بیواز می‌بینید و به این نوع ویدیو علاقمندید، کانال خودتون رو همراهی کنید. در بیواز علاوه بر کاور پرونده‌های جنایی، به بررسی و تحلیل فیلمهای ممنوعه و خاص هم می‌پردازیم. و همینطور موضوعات دارک و رازآلودی که در تاریخ بشر وجود داشته. سلکز رو فراموش نکنید و به زودی با ویدیوی جدید برمیگردیم.